Welcome to your daily dose of theological German, and we're going to be doing a bit of a longer sentence today, so I apologize if this video gets way out of control, but hopefully it'll be worth your while to learn complicated German syntax and everything that goes into it. We're still looking at this article, Where Does God Dwell? Today might be the last day we look at this article, and I may move on to a different author and a different topic in future videos, but either way, we're going to keep learning German. So we're at a part of the article where it's still talking about 1 Kings 8 and in particular the redaction history. And so if you're familiar with that area of Old Testament scholarship, you would kind of know the types of things that are going to be talked about in there. And that's important context for translating a sentence like this one for sure, because this is talking all about uncovering the layers of the text. So let's go ahead and start translating. In the manner of an archaeologist who, this is a relative pronoun, so you have a relative clause here, who, let's find the verb first, clears away Gesteinsschichten. This is a compound word. Stein, you might recognize, means stone. Gestein is a related word. It means rock or mineral. Schicht is a word that means layer. So an archaeologist who clears away layers of rock, which obviously makes perfect sense. And here we have a possessive pronoun. Let's find the verb again for this part of it. And examines their qualities. Okay, so far so good. We have a nice prepositional phrase with an embedded relative clause. So we're hoping now for a verb for our main clause to come in here somewhere, and indeed it does. Können is the verb, and that, of course, is a modal auxiliary. With a modal auxiliary like this, what you need is an infinitive complement. That's how the construction works, and so I would suggest you should go straight to the end of the sentence to find it. Here's an infinitive down here. But just to show you kind of how you would process that, if you were to try to just like look at the end of the clause, you would see here this verb, angesehen, which is clearly a past participle. And you know that because this ge in the middle breaks up the separable prefix from the verb, because if you were to look up this verb in the dictionary, you would want to look under ansehen, and it means something like to look at or view. So this is a past participle, and so that can't be what's complementing the modal auxiliary there. And so you keep looking and you find another verb, and you notice this is also a past participle. So you keep looking and you get down here. This one's not a separable verb this time, but it has the ge prefix, which tells you it's also a past participle. So none of these can be the complement for können. And so you finally get to the end and you discover werden, and that is clearly an infinitival form of the verb. But as soon as you see that it's werden, and as soon as you see that there's a bunch of past participles, that should tell you that you're dealing with a passive construction. And so you are. And so now that you've kind of done all that work to see all those verbs, what you're going to find when you're trying to translate this is that you essentially need to keep repeating the modal construction, this können werden. You need to keep repeating that to go with each of those participles in each of those subordinate clauses. So let's go ahead and see if we can just render that into normal sounding English. In the manner of an archaeologist who clears away rock layers and examines their qualities, some selected statements of the text can be viewed. Their distinct qualities can be evaluated or assessed, and here I would just actually resupply a subject with a pronoun. I would say, and they can be placed in a conceptual context. So once you know what all the verbs are and how they're all working together in the syntax, it's actually a pretty straightforward sentence, but it looks really convoluted when you first start looking at it.